city of Detroit. Y'all give them a round of applause. So for those of you who don't know, the reason why we do these interviews is because we try to find quote unquote dirty jobs. Jobs that people really don't, they disregard, those people. Jobs that a lot of folks may not want, but are very, very important to our lives. We need to make sure that we realize and keep in mind that these are real people. We've had linesmen who, when your lights go out in DTE, you're already mad at him. When the linesman comes out, you're probably mad at him too, but that guy is just doing his job. We have individuals who have come here. We interviewed who was I forgot the exact title, but the garbage man, the trash collector. Why people get mad at that person? Because the routes are messed up. That's the system, not that individual. And so what we want to do is make sure you understand the challenges that these individuals who choose to work for the city and get into public service, that they do, and some of those issues that you may be able to help them out in their day-to-day life. So thank you again for being here, Brother Quinn.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so tell us a little bit, general auto mechanic.
Before I get into that, I just wanted to add something. I noticed how the crowd's kind of hung up on this facial technology and facial recognition. And
Hold it up a little bit.
I worked at one of the big three testing grounds, facilities in 93 to 95. Shortly after that, I got hired by the city. The technology that they're speaking of today, that they're using, they developed it in 93. So if they had it in 93, what do you all think they've been doing with it all these years? Been using it. And it's so, I'm telling you, if y'all worried about that facial recognition, y'all might as well just give it up. Because they have the technology now. They can tell you, they have sensors along the road that can tell you how many people's in the car and how much the average person weighs.
So here's how really deep it goes. So this is why the conversation has to be had about technology as a whole. My wife, she has a higher pay grade than me, so she has a Cadillac. And the Cadillac has the system where it will tell you, it has a satellite that beams down and you park your car based on the beam all the way in outer space that will tell you that you're too close or too far away from that line. That's how deep this stuff is. Now, we paid for it, and that's something that she wants and she likes. But some of the things that we're talking about are things that people didn't know about.
Right. Yeah.
And it's the government. That's a whole different situation. So that's where I never want us to get to a situation where we say, get over it. We still have to take control of it as much as we can, because though the technology continues to evolve, ultimately we the people are the ones who should direct how it's used, right?
That's true. That's true. And I've always believed I believe in law enforcement and safety and public safety to the utmost, but we have to have someone policing the police, so to speak. In today's technology, I worked in the specific group that I worked in, we did crash testing. But then we started developing the OBD 1 and 2 systems. They can actually, back in 97, take control of your car in 97. This is 2019. They can take control of your car, take you back home, and put you back in the driveway. They've had this technology for years.
And you would know because
this is what I do.
Cars are now machines. Those are computers.
This is what I do. I have a $7,000 computer that I bought out of my own money. $7,000, $3,000 financing to be able to hook up to a car and truck and tell me these cars today have a self-diagnostic capability. Used to have the idiot lights to generate light, but now they can tell you by codes what's wrong. And they're so sensitive, you could pull up to a gas station, leave your car running, open the gas cap, and stick the nozzle in and start pumping, and a light will pop up. I plug my computer up and tell you, you pump gas with the car running, which is a no-no. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I've seen some of the stuff they did. I've worked for Ford and GM. I've learned more working at GM for 3 years than I did in the automotive field in 20. The new antifreeze that you all seeing now, the red, orange, pink, they had that back in '93. They have oil out there that can actually go 100,000 miles for an oil change. So, I mean,
how did you end up in the city? I mean, it sounds like you got a lot of private sector experience. How did you end up?
Tons of it. It was actually a nasty story. It's the truth. Well, I was working in Milford, and I walked into the cafeteria up there. The area where I was working, that location.
What year are we talking?
93.
Okay.
No, 96. That location where I was working, it was majority white. And everybody knows that Milford and Pinckney and Howell has a reputation of being a headquarters for. Okay. I had a few incidents up there and walked into the cafeteria to get some lunch, and they were actually some of my coworkers in there having a meeting. And the meeting was about the welcome committee. Another individual had moved up in there to Howell in a welcome committee who was affiliated with the Klan, had came out to visit him and he wasn't home. And I sat there and listened to the conversation. I was actually getting a pop out the machine. And when I heard it, I turned around and looked, and I just shook my head. I stuck my dollar up in the machine and snatched it up. I made my selection. When the pop shot down, you know, I make that clunk clunk noise. They turned and looked, and it was like, oh, hell, what did he hear? So we had a few incidents there, me and this individual. They terminated both of us. I put my resume out there, got accepted at Chrysler, turned that job down. The city saw my resume. I had actually applied for a firefighter's position in the city of Detroit because I have fire training. They saw that. They asked me to bring my resume in. Brought my resume in, and it's a trick that someone taught me about, little tricks you can use when you're going on a job interview. I went to a paper supply place and bought some of this premium paper. Premium paper, if you probably never seen it before. It has fibers embedded in it, so when they go to rip it to tear it loose, it's like, and it feels different in your hand. And when they see it, they look at it, and it shows a different character about you, a different personality or a different good feature about you. They saw that, and she saw the mechanic aptitude I had, and she told me, said, well, forget about the fire department, how about being a mechanic? So I interviewed with them for the mechanic position, and they gave me a pick, DPW. It shows you how the Lord works. DPW or DDOT. So both of them have overtime, but working with DPW, you have to work on garbage trucks. And the number one thing, any mechanic complains about working on the garbage truck, all of that stuff that you all throw away. When the truck breaks down, I have to climb under it and try to find out what's wrong. Had an incident the other day. I took a break. I wasn't even working on this truck. I'm about as far as from here to the camera. I was on my laptop researching something, and I caught a glimpse of something moving. Here's the biggest damn rat. I mean squirrel size. Jumping down off the back of the truck, ran back around my way, saw me, and he went one way and I went the other. And all they do is, and this is the killing part about this, this is the location where they send out the inspectors with the rat poison. So we got buku rat poison in boxes all over the place. We had a rat come out last night, a raccoon come in last night, and a stray cat. And the location I work is right by the old incinerator. When they shut that down, all the critters that were going over there to feed, oh, they got a garage over here with heat. So it's a big mess.
So how do you? I mean, are you a critter guy?
And I was going to ask this question because I hear everybody, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm a country boy, and I see all the people here with seniority more than me. I mean, don't any of y'all eat raccoon? Huh?
Sorry, sir, we don't do that on this side.
So wait a minute. No, seriously, how many in here have ever had raccoons? All right, that's all right. No, I ain't crazy. Let me ask you this: what's the difference between a city raccoon and a country?
City raccoon eats garbage and trash and things in the neighborhood. You have raccoons out in the field.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about raccoons. Okay, I hunt. I'm an avid sportsman. Okay, we go out there hunting. Then you want to talk like that? I bet I had you dragging my deer back. No, let me quit.
She's real?
You married? No, let me quit. Raccoons wash and clean their food. I know some co-workers that don't subscribe to. They'll go in the bathroom, come right back out and finish that sandwich they was eating. But they wash and clean their food. They mostly eat vegetables. They'll eat frogs and crayfish. But the majority of the time, they wash and clean their food. Possums, we're not going to even discuss. But I'm just curious about that. I heard everybody talking about all these critters, and I'm like, thank you for releasing them back in the wild because it gives me something to do.
But you know what else? If you don't take them a long distance away, they are creatures of habit.
Oh, yeah.
Every third house, every 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, there is a raccoon or a possum.
I'll tell you. Oh, go ahead.
So we want to steer us back.
Okay. I'm just going to share something with them. Yeah. I just had to ask that because I hear everybody talking about it, and I say, well, I know some of these folks from down south.
Yeah, we got some folks that eat raccoons.
Okay, but back to GSD. GSD, I think it's a new department. It was, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to get a brother credit for something he didn't do. I think Dennis Archer took and merged a couple of different garages from like public lighting, street maintenance, and forestry, and made one department, and we work on all their vehicles. My position is unique in two ways. I work on a lot of specialty equipment. So anything from A to Z, I fix, and pretty good at it. I started off last week, I worked on a chainsaw. Next day I worked on the, I hate that he left, the commander's mobile command center, the big bus that they have. They had it, and I went through, you know, I wasn't doing nothing illegal, but I was working on it. I went in the back to check on some things, and I saw where they had the presidential debate here. They had a floor plan and escape route and officers assigned. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like 6 offices on wheels, and they got a detainment center in the back of the bus. I never knew that. They will lock you up in the back, and it's just like being in Wayne County. The next day, I got to work on something I worked on once before, and this kind of gave me a little prestige. They call it the Bear. $750,000 of your taxpayers' money. It's the armored personnel carrier. It's known, they call it the special response team, but it's a SWAT truck. 12 tons of the roughest metal you ever want to see.
Big tires and everything.
Run flat tires, you could shoot it up 20 times and the thing won't even dip. Will run through a house. I mean, this sucker is bad. You look on the inside, it looks like the cockpit of a 747. They got laptops and cameras and switches and stuff. So it came back, what had happened, they loaned it to Taylor. And they were doing an exercise with it, and the brakes went out. So they towed it back over there. I got under there and fixed the brakes, and part of my thing was, they was like, well, go ahead and take it out there on the street. We have a test area. But sometimes we have to swear away from that area and go on the expressway. My supervisor's like, go on, take for a test drive. I say, you out your mind. They not gonna catch me out there in this thing with no gun, have me locked up.
You in the Bear.
That don't make no difference. If I get carjacked, what, they can't get carjacked? The chief of police got carjacked. You think I can't get? So I took it out a little ways, and I was driving down the street, and I had to test the brakes. I got up to 40, 45. I'm like, oh, this girl can go. You know, so I hit the brakes. I locked up on them. My mistake was not looking around the inside. I glanced around, but not looking, doing a thorough search. You all have seen them on TV and the movies when the police go in, they got this guy out front holding this big barricade. That barricade weighs about 250 pounds. When I slammed on that brake, bam! Hit the dashboard like 20 people with sledgehammers. This thing is so sturdy, you couldn't even see a scratch, a nick, or anything. So I pulled over and secured it, and then went back out, did my test drive, and brought it on back in.
So let me. Are you a car guy?
I do everything, specialty equipment. I work on the paver, the one that lays the machine that lays the asphalt. $500,000 machine. I work on it. If it goes down, they send me. Go get it.
So I asked the question because car guys, you know, my dad's one. He can just fix this car, that car, no matter what car it is, he's fixing on cars.
Oh yeah.
So how different is it in repairing, maintaining all these different types of vehicles?
It's different in as far as something as simple as a fuel. The SWAT truck works off diesel fuel. Majority of the cars are gasoline. Now they got a lot of hybrid cars, which, you know, the gas and then electric. You know, you stop, and they had issues with those at first. They had actually had people pull up in the car. They thought the car was shut off, and they go to climb out the car, and it takes off. You know, they had to work a lot of bugs out of it, but I mean, it's totally different. We have the car side and then we have the truck side.
So talk to us about your training. I mean, it sounds like some new stuff is being piled in every other year. This new technology. How about your training?
They send us back to school. A lot of training. Here's my thing. I have an auto repair shop in the area. I'm right off of Finkel. I've been doing this, my own business, for like 20 years. I've been with the city 20 years, 5 months, 3 days, 7 hours, and you get the point. So I would go back to training with doctors, lawyers, police officers. When you subscribe to those type of jobs or occupations, you're always going to be going back to school. It's a school of lifelong learning. You're gonna have to always go back and get caught up on some of the new technology. The city drags their feet a lot, but they do send us back for training. I was supposed to go 3 weeks ago for the sweepers. We were supposed to go to Chicago, but I had something very important come up that I couldn't go, so they sent other people. But they do send us, and they bring a lot of the instructors here and give us classes at different locations around the city. Then they get the new equipment, you know. We could do better as far as the training of the mechanics and whatnot, but with what we are allowed to work with, the equipment we have to work it in the situations and in the locations, we doing an A1 job. And I wish they would allow y'all just to come in there. I know half of y'all wouldn't even come when y'all see one. As soon as you see a rat, whoop, oh yeah, nice visit.
Yeah, you can make that story sound very appealing.
Oh man, it's a mess, but we have to work in that. And then you get up under one of them trucks and all that, the juice and all that water and stuff running down, dripping on you, doing brakes and all I'm doing, I'm laying up under there cussing the mayor and the city council out. Boy, but you have to do it.
So how do you make sure you don't take all that stuff home? Get all on because you got gunk and stuff.
Well, we got uniforms and stuff like that. Most of the time we just get a rag. Sometimes we can power wash it. We can request that if the vehicle like is loaded with garbage. Now, this is where it gets ugly. It's technically the driver's responsibility to dump that, but that don't always happen. So then we either have to go out there or force a hand. But even with that, you can't clean it out 100%. They give us power washers and all that, but you have to basically put that truck in the gear and the back end opens up. Then you still got to climb up in there with the hose and wash it down. So, but you know, we do what we can with what we can, and we still get the job done. That's why you see a lot of guys over there disgruntled because it could be better, but it could also be worse.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if this is what you planned on doing when you were a little boy. What did you want to do? Because I always ask that question because, you know, life does not lead you in one straight path. Life does this, does that. What is it when you were a little boy, when you were a little Quinn? What did you want to be?
Well, different stages it changed. At my first job, I wanted to be an architect. My dad was in construction. He actually had his own equipment. He worked for a big company now that's still around, Square Wall Construction. He actually laid the foundation for the water treatment plant on the east side on 8 Mile. He laid the foundation for the City National Bank building downtown. And he told me a little story about when he did Boxford Hospital on Grand River between 8 and 9 Mile. They were laying the drain, the sewage pipes in there. That's the day Kennedy got killed. And he told us about that, and it was very hair-raising, the story he told us. The black guys had to stay there and work. The white guys went up to their car, they listened on the radio, and they was laughing about it. But at that time, the nation was in a civil rights struggle that unprecedented. We had never seen nothing like that before. But he told me, he said, yeah, they made all them stay down and keep working, but the white guy sat up there and listened. He said, them cats was laughing. Kennedy had just got killed.
So architecture was one thing. So
Then I wanted to be a lawyer. Some say I still am, but my job, I'm also Secretary Treasurer for AFSCME Council 25, Local 229, and I'm a chief steward. I've been a fighter all my life. I was raised in the Catholic school, and then my dad couldn't afford to put me through Catholic school no more, so he turned me out to the public school. I fought the first day of school all the way to the last. I've been a fighter all my life, so that's what I did. I just went to labor school at Wayne State University and learned the game plan, learned the rules and regulations. So that's how I deal with them. I deal with them on their playing field with their rules. It's a little different now because the rules change. But that's what I wanted to be. And then I was about 11 years old, walking to the store. We saw a house catch on fire. Little girl got burnt, and I actually saw the girl's body. And she was a couple years older than me. So that made me determined to be a firefighter. So I joined my stepfather was he retired as Director of Public Safety in Royal Oak Township. Public safety, police, fire, EMT, all cross-trained. He sent me to fire training school. I took a couple classes, then I went to Oakland University, then I went to Oakland again, then I went to Macomb Fire College, Macomb Community College, Fire College. They built a fire academy there. Then I started working for the city of Ferndale as a firefighter. I would do that on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on midnights. From there, I stayed in the automotive field, but this was something else for me to fall back on in case things got tough. And I went to GM, and after that incident in GM, that's when I applied for the fire department. They was like, nah, we want you working on cars. Now, the funny thing about it, they told me you could go to DPW, which work on the garbage trucks, or go to DDOT. I said, I ain't working on the garbage trucks. Went to DDOT, worked there about 10 years, and then here I am back at DPW. Just can't shake the DPW. But for the most part, it's a job. You can go in there and make earn an honest wage. You get some training and stuff like that. Can we make more? Of course. Of course. We're the lowest paid in the northern half of the United States.
So let me ask you this. With your background in auto mechanics, a lot of folks, and how many mechanics do we have in the room? Okay, so we got a lot of folks who are not familiar with auto mechanic field. For someone like us, when we have a repair and you need to go to a mechanic, what are some of the things that you should look at? How do you determine this is one, I mean, word of mouth, of course, but if you don't have anyone who has gone to that particular location, if you got some specialized, how do you determine if this is a reputable or good location or someone who could address your issue?
Mostly, like you say, word of mouth, but I'll tell you something like I tell my kids. Now, I got 4 daughters. It's okay to get a second, third, or fourth opinion. That's all right. You're not discrediting this person. You're just trying to find out what's wrong with your car. And I tell, for some reason, majority of my customers are females and older. And I try to educate them. Some of them cuss me out. I don't want to hear that. Just tell me how much I owe you and give me my bill. But some of them I try to educate them on the workings and the fundamentals of a car. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. You came and asked me, I might give you this crazy look, but I still run it down to you and tell you. But the thing of it is, you got to understand, in order to make these newer cars more fuel efficient, they had to restructure the car. And the first place they started was the engine, where it used to be an 8-cylinder engine weighed 999 pounds back in the early 70s. The same engine today weighs about 400 or 500 pounds. In the way they did that, they shaved off a lot of surface material and they made the engines out of aluminum. The average car, I'll say 90% of the cars y'all drive down here now, I could take one of those little yellow propane tanks and melt your life away. So what I'm saying is this, they can't take, that aluminum is a very strong, almost as strong as steel, but it cannot take heat. I see I got so many of these female customers coming in where it ran hot, and baby, I had to get my nails appointment, and I wasn't about to be late because Shanae charged me $25 for, and they just wait, let the car cool off and drive on again, but you just ruined the motor. $1,300 gone. All because they cannot take heat.
So what we're going to do now is open up for any questions. I know you probably got some good answers for them. Any questions for Mr. Quinn? One right there.
Uh-oh.
I wasn't going to ask a question. Hello, my name is Cynthia Jones. And last summer, 2 summers ago, I interned at DPW. And I just want to say that I commend you for your work because I've seen day-to-day the operations and, how some of the shirts go down and, different things that went on. That, you all still get up early in the morning and still stay late to get the job done. And, it's just great. A lot of people don't, know the everyday operation or never been to the office or, never talked to a city worker. But I know it's not many people that have the job that you have. And so, hats off to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Sir?
Where's your establishment? Your business?
Oh, Lord.
You done said it now. See?
It's on Finkel.
Now you get shot.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you. It's on the corner of Finkel and Stout. Now, I bought this build, Finkel and Stout. It's the old M&J Muffler car wash. I bought it in the tax auction, rehabbed the building about 90%, opened it up for business. I have caught so much hell from the neighborhood that I'll be out of there the 17th of next month. Y'all, they seem to like it better when it was abandoned and graffitied up and stolen cars was everywhere, windows bust open. So me and Randy have butted heads deep. I'm gonna tell you, here's a good example, and I don't want to get off subject. The building had been empty for 9 years before I bought it. I bought it in the tax auction. Kids come along and tag it graffiti. I buy it, 6 months later, they hit me with a $1,600 fine for the building being graffiti. Well, yeah, well, it was like that when I bought it. Well, guess what, Mr. Quinn, you inherited the problem. Okay, now mind you, it's a slap in the face to me because I repair all the vehicles that these people came out there to write me the ticket with.
Did they give you the opportunity to paint over it first?
Nope. And me and Randy have butted heads again since then, and I'm just to the point now, between the crime, the problems I'm having, I have vehicles around there, they come over there and steal the batteries out the cars. Customers' cars, my tow truck. My tow truck has 2 batteries. The batteries cost me $180 a piece. They don't just take the battery loose, unscrew it, they cut the cables. So every time they steal a battery, I gotta replace 2 12-foot long cables. Then I put cameras up. I'll tell y'all some stories y'all wouldn't believe.
You moving out. So,
I'm
the question
done.
I have is, what's next? So you're with the city, you're moving out of that Finkel and Stout location.
I'm looking for a facility, because I restore classic cars too. Okay. See, I got a 64 Mercury Park, I got rid of that. I got a 64 Malibu 2-door drop top, been professionally restored. It's only like, I think 6. Huh?
Did you bring it?
No. It's over there at the shop.
Don't worry about that car if you ain't bring it.
The only way I would bring that if Chief Craig and the commander followed me in their car. Yeah.
Well, I hear Chief Craig is a car guy, so they might have to one.
Oh, yeah, I have that, and I have a 69. This is gonna make your heart race. 69 in the 70 Poor Man's Cadillac. What's the Poor Man's Cadillac? Deuce and a quarter. Deuce and a quarter. 6, and they're out in Belleville in storage. But I restore cars, so my goal is now is, at my beautiful age of 30, I've decided I've decided to not to work as hard, to work smarter, not harder. So I'm gonna get away from doing a lot of heavy work. I still do little small things, but I'm gonna get out here and play with these cars and get out ride with them, ride with my grandson and my great grandson, and enjoy myself a little bit. And then try to walk. I got 20 years. Try to walk down these last 10 years with the city, and hopefully I'll be able to skate away from here with a paycheck.
I understand, but we appreciate you for the work you do, and thank you for being here.
No, I appreciate it.
Kevin Quinn. I'll give it up. Y'all do better than that. These guys been here for a long
Thank
time.
you, thank you, thank you.
Appreciate it.